I haven't. I've only been out for a few moments, and the other gentleman just walked by.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
If I see it, I know where to head with it.
For sure. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Everything's all fuzzy for some reason. So I think I gotta change something. Ah, there I see. Hey, good evening. How does it look and sound? I'm I'm out on the porch, so I haven't done any dark live streams, so I don't know how it looks. I hope you guys are having a good Independence Day pre. Hey Tank, it is it's late. It is late for me. I'm normally in bed at 8:30, but it's been a busy weekend. Of course, we have an injury in the house. Scout has a broken foot, so instead of having him drive himself to and from, he's using the Daddy Uber once again, which he does not like. And I'm not gonna lie, I missed him. I just bit my tongue. I miss him being able to drive himself wherever he wants to go. But for the next few weeks, he is stuck with when I take him or where I take him. Of course, I'm a terribly mean father, so I did take him to his girlfriend's today where he wanted to spend some time. They had a family cookout. I think one of her brothers, somebody had a birthday, and so he got to go spend time there with them. No, Chipper, that's what he said. He goes, well, look, I can still push with the cast, and I'm like, no, there's no driving with the cast on your right foot. I said, had it been your other foot, I wouldn't have had a problem with it, but not your driving foot. But he will giggle when I tell him your comment. And he's been hurting pretty bad. Of course, this is his first. Sorry, I was distracted by fireworks down the way. This is his first broken bone. And it's way up in his foot. And so it's pretty painful. They told us it would be. And so he's feeling it. So, happy Independence Day, everyone. I know it's a little early, but tomorrow, everyone, first off, I've got to work, and I'm sure, everyone has plans, and it's been a long time since I've done a live. And for those of you that are pretty current on the videos, I've slowed down a little bit from 3 to 2. I still have plenty of content. I mean, I could step it back up. But it was just like, I don't know, I guess I kind of felt like it was the same stuff over and over, or that people weren't enjoying it or watching it quite as much. And so I thought if I would do a little less competition for your viewing time, that you would enjoy the content a little better. Which is funny. I still made 5 videos just today. But I had all that extra time. It's not new to me totally, but normally I'm a Tractor Supply and an Atwoods guy. But there's a store that's been around Northwest Arkansas for longer than I have been, called Orsolins. And it's like an Atwoods or a Tractor Supply. But I went there today, killing time. It was in the same town as Scout's girlfriend. So I was killing time. And when I go to those type of stores, unless No, nobody's there. I don't know why I was laughing or waving. Unless I'm looking for something specific, I kind of just wander up and down the aisles looking for things that are on sale. Or like today, I went with a mission, but it wasn't just to get one thing. It was I wanted to get some lubricants just to put back in the shed from where I've been using things. So I'm going to change the light for a minute. So one of my neighbors has a missing puppy that is running around. And so I thought I saw something. Let's see. Oh, Orscheln's, yeah, I've learned to really enjoy it. And so with your comment about, me trying to find the deals, I spend 2 days a month. That is my off day, my do whatever I want to do day is the day that I kind of cruise around and I look for deals on things. And more so now than before. Before I kind of looked for deals on anything I could imagine as being a prepper item. And now I've got to be pretty specific, particularly with prices changing and situations changing with jobs and all. We've kind of had to tighten the belt a little bit. And so I do more purpose deals. I found some great stuff today at Orscheln's. Number one, I found out they have the same thing as every store, like join our club. But it saved the stuff that I had brought to the counter was on their weekly sale. And so the lady's like, it doesn't cost anything but your email address. And I have a trash email address that I can use for those kind of things. It's not totally trash, but it's one that if I get extra emails, it doesn't hurt my feelings. And so I joined their club. So I saved like $5 or $6 just because those items were on sale today, and they were already on clearance to begin with, or on sale on a different sale. So it was pretty good, and I look forward. I haven't made the video on them, but I'm going to. I got some canning supplies, and they had a canner. Sorry. That was my beautiful bride talking about setting an alarm to help Scout remember to take some medicine. We've been alternating Tylenol and ibuprofen as needed, so we haven't been making him take it every 4 or 6 hours. Just as as he starts to get a little tender, we have him take it. But today, being gone all afternoon and into the evening, because we didn't pick him up until 8 o'clock, 10 after 8, and then it's a little ways home. He was hurting pretty bad, so we set an alarm to wake him up and have him take. I guess I gave him ibuprofen a minute ago, so we'll give him Tylenol in a little while. I'm scared to move it. It'll go away in a minute. But I got a text that drops down, the top. But anyway, so they had a canner, and it's my canner that I have now doesn't have a pressure gauge. It just has the little black pop up, and then the vent, and I have a weight that I can put different, that's a pedestal weight. You put different weights on it to get it whatever pounds you need. Where I live, it's 10 pounds of pressure for everything I've tried to can so far. So but everyone, like when I go to these canning like seminars, or there's some older ladies around in my neighborhood and in my community, my church group, that can, and they've canned their whole lives. Well, when I go to them and I'm like, oh, my pressure canner doesn't have a gauge on it. And they're blown away. They're like, what? How are you canning without a gauge? And so, I saw one with a gauge on it. And so I was like, oh, and it wasn't terribly expensive. It was actually kind of cheap in the realm of canners. It had the plastic locks that lock in place, the turn locks, just like my Presto canner, I guess. Preston or Presto. And so it had those locks, but then it had a gauge on it and a bleeder valve and a couple other spouts and spigots on the top. But because I hadn't used it, I sent a message to my mother-in-law and said, hey, would you ask this other lady, who's kind of our local canning guru, if she'd heard of this brand and what she thought of it. And we did a few back and forth texts, and it ended up that she suggested that I pass on it, which was like, well, okay. She wants me to get an American Beauty at $469. That's not going to happen. Ever. I would love one, but I have a canner that functions. It's not running constantly. An all-American tank. Maybe that's what. No, I think it's American Beauty. All American is a great brand as well. I've heard of that one. And one of her main concerns with the one that I showed her today with a picture is that it was made in China. And she's, I'm not going to say she's an old lady, but she's 65, 68, somewhere in there. And so she sure didn't like that. And since she's kind of my go-to lady, I said, okay. And so, Chipper, that's exactly how I do it too. And my book on canning says that. And the directions in the owner's manual are very clear, very concise. I've had no problems. Of course, you've known me way longer than I've been canning, so I'm still have a lot to learn. I just did, what did I do last? Chicken, like chunked up chicken. I've done carrots and green beans, potatoes. I was going to do potatoes. My potato tower, that's a whole other subject. I'm going to can potatoes. Last year, I only canned a few of them, maybe 6 or 7 quarts. And this year, I want to do 24 quarts of just potatoes, because we're a mashed potato family, and the ease of just opening up a jar and dumping it in, heating it up, and then squishing them, man, I don't know if you guys could hear those fireworks going off, but that was a really rapid fire one. Oh, don't tease me, tater. I love taters. So, I don't know if you saw the video or 2 or 3, because I was pretty proud of it, that I tried a potato tower. I took 2x4s and I made a 3 foot by 3 foot by 5 foot box. And I only put sides. Oh, my neighbors are looking for their dog again. I only put boards on one side, on the back side, that's turned away from the sunshine, so it wasn't shading it at all. And then I used those really cheap fencing pickets. I mean, they were only $2 or $3 a piece. And I cut them in half, and they were long enough. Louisiana, how are you, Southern Wood Prepper? Those pickets were long enough to get 2 boards out of one once I cut them, and I planted the potatoes in the very bottom, the 12 inches. I put in 12 inches of soil, and then as they grew, I added more soil. Well, I didn't get a single potato. I mean, not one, and I did that all the way up to about 5 feet. And so from what I read, I think it was that I didn't give them enough time to develop. I tried to rush them, so the plant was working on height and not producing potatoes. I, it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart bad. So yes, please. I got to go back to that. Planting taters in 5 gallon buckets. Yeah, please let me know how that goes. And I'm gonna try my potato tower again. I made it to last, you know, and all of it's treated except for the three sides with the pickets, and they weren't in there long enough to do it. Yeah, Tank, I'm gonna do. I took it apart because I wanted to try to harvest because everything I'd read in an old farmer's almanac and been taught by my family and my grandparents-in-law was you harvest the 4th of July, you know, around there, and then you can plant again and get another planting in. And so I went to harvest last week and I didn't have anything, and man, it was just devastating. Paul, I'm excited to hear that. You'll have to let us know how that goes. And so I'm gonna do more potatoes. My broccoli, I know the problem with my broccoli and my cauliflower is I planted it in planters that were too small. I think if I'd put it in the ground, it would have been great. So Chipper, my plants had died back. They had fallen and brown and fallen back. So that's what made me decide to go to the bottom of that tower and take the bottom board off and scoop dirt out. And I didn't find anything in the bottom 3 boards. And so then I just took a whole side off, and went from there. And there was nothing. There is a siren. There aren't many sirens in my neighborhood that I don't know about. So yes, we are trying to keep Scout off his broken foot. He's doing pretty good. Today he was at his girlfriend's all day, so I'm sure he overdid it. He's got one of those cast shoes. Looks like a big flip flop for on a cast, and it's good and clean. So that tells me that he's not putting a lot of weight on it, or if he is, he's doing it smarter than I would. So Tank, I used seed potatoes. Like I went to the Farmers Co-op. I don't remember which. I think maybe Elkins, which is a little town here in northwest Arkansas, on one of my Saturdays, and they had a bag of Yukon Gold seed potatoes. Because I was going to use ones from the store, but I opted to try my first one. I wanted to do the best that I could, and so I bought seed potatoes. And I'm gonna try again. And so let's see here. I missed one. So Chipper, I did not get any of that rain. I was in town. I went to go. So in town they got rain, but out here, nothing. Like sprinkles, but sprinkles for 5 minutes. Let's see. Southern Boy, tomorrow is barbecue day. We did shish kebabs yesterday with chicken and beef and onions and peppers. And then we roasted some squash. And that was kind of our 4th of July family dinner. And then today after church we went to my in-laws and had hamburgers and hot dogs and youth made desserts, something called a refrigerator cake with graham crackers and I'm sure cream cheese and some kind of berry. It had flavor, but the texture was a little weird for me. But it was wonderful that she took the time to do that. So I was super excited. So I'm going to go back. I missed a few comments. Chipper, I cut them. I I cut them. I put them in a tub with a paper towel over them, and I let them get eyes before I put them in the soil. And they were Yukon Golds. I think Tank. I think the red potatoes are probably better for my area, but I don't know. I was just trying. For some reason, Yukon Golds were on my heart that day. Well, let's see. Sorry, there's comments I got to go back to. Oh, Zub Zub, I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I hope it is going to go well. Tim, good evening. Chipper, an inch. Oh my gosh, I would love an inch of rain down here. Tactical Homestead, hey. Yeah, Chipper, I really think I just tried to add more soil and get it. I was focused more on height than plant development. And so I'm not going to make that mistake again. Or I'm going to try to be a little more patient, to try for less. I have lightning bugs in my tea, so we will give that tea to them. Um, so yeah, I'm going to just be more patient with it. My dill is doing great. It has got stalks as big as both my thumbs, and it's 4 feet tall. We're doing lavender. That's doing really well, which the lavender blooms I've been trimming and dehydrating for one of my friends. She is entering in a beer making contest, and she was going to buy lavender. And I'm like, well, don't do that. I have a plant that's this big around that surely I can dry you 9 ounces of the flowers. And yeah, water has been an issue for us right here, for me too. Zub, I don't know. I've been watering twice a day actually. Growing them in straw. Let me keep adding the tower as they grow. Really fun, Marvin. Fun time, man. That's so. Maybe I should not use dirt. Maybe I should use straw. I've seen it. Um, I just use dirt. I actually used garden soil because it was real light and it. I have good luck with it not settling very well. Not compacting very well. And good ideas with the straw. And this is my first attempt at potatoes. But potatoes are such a staple that I really want to conquer it or get where I can do it. And the thing I liked about the potato tower idea is Amy could help without trying to injure herself, you know, like she would in the garden. And that's why most of everything we've done, except for my blackberries and my grapes and a few of the other things, but for the most part, I try to do them in containers of some kind because I can elevate them for her and she can be part of things without, without it being difficult for her to do. The night sounds, yeah, well, that's just the sound of my porch. It's I'd like to tell you some fancy story about it's orchestrated in sound bites, but that's just my front porch. Even the fireworks off in the distance is just my front porch. It's my favorite place. This seat right here is, and it's terrible. We have a lawn furniture couch that is terrible, and I have a wonderful new camp chair that I should be sitting in, and plenty of porch, but I just like this spot. So Tim, it is not too late. Um, there are lots of things that you can plant even later in the year, even if it's super hot. Go to a farmer's almanac, or go to the interwebs and just look up, what can I plant in, like for me, it's what can I plant in North Arkansas in the summer. And there's a big long list. Sweet potatoes and green beans, squash. I mean, there's several things. So don't get discouraged. Find something you can plant, throw it in the dirt. We picked up seeds for eggplant and sweet potatoes. I'm gonna plant another row of cucumbers. Yeah, it's not too late. The only time it's too late is when it's freezing. Yeah, like Paul just said, fall garden planting is just around the corner. I'm hoping I've got some things that have a 60 to 75 day um, plant to harvest time that I'm trying to do. And my daughter wants to do pumpkins. We've never done pumpkins, which means I'm going to have to learn to cook them or to do something with them. I love pumpkin pie, but that's really the only thing pumpkin that I've done, other than making decorations out of them for fall harvest. Yeah, Tim, you got to try something. Just make it something easy. So we've got man, I bet you could find a potato that has a short period. I would try potatoes. Potatoes are cheap. Seed potatoes are cheap. Give it a shot. Even up there. Pumpkin in soup. And so what kind of animal? Like, do you like cows? I mean, I've seen cows and horses eat pumpkins, but what other animals does that deworm? That's exciting. I'm gonna make a note of that. Northern California. Oh yeah, I mean that would be primo time. So I am far from an expert gardener. I mean, I'm way, way, way off. My exciting things that we've got to grow is well, this year I finally have squash that's going to, I'm confident I'm going to get more squash than we can eat. My wife has an elephant ear that she's always wanted, an elephant ear. See, now that you guys are mentioning soups, man, I like a bisque soup does sound good. Even at 90 degrees outside right now, it still feels good. So we planted this elephant ear, and the pot is that big around and a foot and a half deep, and it's got one bulb in it that we got from one of the the plant houses or um, nurseries. And for weeks and weeks, we thought it wasn't going to do anything, and she was sad. I was sad because it was a $15 bulb. I won't tell her that unless she sees this, but so I was sad that we had invested so much. I mean, like with that, the pot and 2 bags of dirt, that was almost that was a lot of our budget. That was uncomfortable to get to do that, but it's come up and it's so beautiful and she's so happy, and it encourages her to water our apple trees more, and because that's where they're at, is by one of our apple trees, and she just gets exciting about it, and so I get excited about it. And our green beans are doing good, not great, but it's just now time. It's just now time for them to start producing really well here. So, and I only have, let's see, eight green bean plants. So, I mean, I don't have a 50-foot row of it. I only have, about a 6-foot row of it. But I grew them on a trellis, which was and I literally made a video about these hog panels. It is a 12-foot wire panel of squares, just square wire squares that I just shoved into the fence and made an arch out of it and staked the other end down, and then planted them in a planter, not even in the ground, and put at the base of that. And they're doing great. Same thing with the squash. I have put some vegetable feed, plant food on them because they're in containers. I want to make sure that I keep them with plenty of nutrients without burning them up. And so that's been a big deal to me, and they're doing well. So I feel I'm on the right track. And I looked this evening when I watered. I'm going to say we got 35, 40 green beans that are coming around. They're, getting about that big. And so I'm pretty positive about it. Got lots of tomatoes. Arkansas living, how are you? I got lots of tomatoes. I've tried some new varieties here at the house, and I don't remember what they are. One of them is like a cherry tomato, so they're going to be little, but it's shaped like a teardrop, and they're starting to come out. And I've got a bunch of green ones. I can't wait to taste them and see how it's going to taste. And then let's see, what other ones did I plant? I always do some beefsteak potatoes. However, this time I didn't do them here at the house. I did them at work because I have a listen at me, chipper that they may be pear tomatoes. So I've got grape ones going here at the house. I've got those, what I do think they're pear tomatoes, and then some bigger ones. But my big boys that I'm growing, I'm doing at the fire station. And the downside of that is, since I don't work the weekends, sometimes they go a couple days without water. They do fine. They produce fruit. I'm sure it affects the amount of fruit that they put out. But there's just nothing. Man, I like going to work, and because I go to work about an hour earlier than I'm supposed to, so I can walk around and I can kind of get in the zone. And you guys may think that's silly, but I've worked in emergency services my whole life of one form or another. And I like to have that acclimation time. And so in the mornings is when I do my personal things. So I'm not taking care of vegetables on company time. The fire chief wouldn't mind. I know that, but that way I've got plenty of time and I'm not rushed. And so I go out and that's when I water them. And I don't water them with a hose. I've got plenty of garden hose, but I fill a bucket and I take a bucket out and I pour, pour the water on there. 1.5 gallon jug at a time. And then I really like to just pick a nice, juicy, ripe tomato and I take it inside. And if I'm not already eating it like an apple, then I take it in and I just slice it. I put a little pepper on it and I get a fork and that's breakfast. Sometimes I'll put sausage. I took my air fryer from the house up there, so I'll put some sausage in the air fryer. And I know, and that may sound totally gross to you, but sausage patties and tomato slices, I just enjoy, especially when it's homegrown sausage, whether it's beef sausage or whether it's turkey sausage or pork sausage. Unlike a lot of my friends, a lot of my preparedness circle, I don't follow the Torah. I am a firm believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, but I don't follow the Torah. So I do eat pork a lot. But man, it's just so good. I just really enjoy it. Now I'm going to go in and I have a big bowl. Even though our tomatoes aren't ripe, I have at Sam's Club, they have a big container for $4.80, $4.90 of assorted variety small tomatoes. And I probably eat 4 or 5 of them 2 or 3 times a day. That's my get up in the middle of the night snack. Is I'll either go, and get a few of those, 3 or 4 of those tomatoes. Usually 3. 4 is too many for the middle of the night for me, or I get 2 of the little dill pickles. Hey, Reverend. Happy Independence Day to you too. It has been great. I work tomorrow, so we did most of our family things. Of course, the community I'm in had a big fireworks display on Friday that I had to work, which was wonderful. So the great thing about that is I was working for the police department, and this may sound totally stupid, but I had to do virtually no true police work. There were no fights, there were no drunks, there were no drugs. There was a couple of people that I had to say, hey, this area is closed, and directed traffic. It was wonderful. Now, it was 97 degrees, and I'm dressed in black, wrapped in armor, but normally, there's a lot of people that get intoxicated, and and if they have a driver, I'm usually allowed to get them taken home. And if they don't have a driver, then that kind of sucks. But this year, the only 2 groups that I came into that I had to do anything with, as soon as one of them saw me, this lady jumped up and she's got a can of Sprite in her hand and she goes, hey T, I'm the designated driver this year. Come by anytime you want. I'm not drinking, I'm the driver. Everyone in this vehicle will get home safe. And I, unless I'm told to, was like, great. They didn't get unruly, they didn't get loud. They enjoyed the fireworks presentation and the free food and had a great evening. Another group didn't have a designated driver, but they called one of their parents, and their parent came and got their keys and said, I'll pick them up later, but I don't want to stay. And I'm like, hey, if you've got the keys to those vehicles, have a great night. And so at the end of the show, they made a point to come find me and go, "Hey, Dad's here to get us," which I thought was funny because Dad is 75 years old. I mean, these are adult children. These are people my age. And but it was wonderful. They got to have a good time. They didn't have to get harassed. They didn't have to get sent out of the park. They didn't have to get. It was just wonderful. They could have a good time and make it safely. I am not a ticket writing policeman, which I get questioned a lot. Well, how come I don't? I'm an old school officer. When I was in South Arkansas, I don't recall having a ticket book for a couple of years because we could still take people home if they'd had too much to drink. We could still, it was just a different time. And so now that I'm just a part timer, all the full time guys just laugh because I've had the same book of 25 tickets for like 4 or 5 years because I don't write tickets, or not very often. You got to really earn it. Like 20 miles an hour in a school zone, over the speed limit, drugs, totally intoxicated. So the things that I don't have a choice on. Now, if I don't take violence very well. If you're gonna beat on somebody, if you're beating apples to apples, man to man, same size, same everything, whatever, lady to lady, whatever. And if it's an unfair fight, then I don't like it, and I have to do something, which fortunately does not happen very often. And when I do get on scene of those situations, I have been blessed with a good ability to de-escalate the situation and get everyone to talking and calm, and I can just say, hey, why don't you should just leave for the night, either side, and then we can talk about it tomorrow, you know. And so I don't spar very much anymore, um, which is good because I carry a baton and I carry a gun. I don't carry a taser. I don't carry pepper spray. You know, it's just one of those things. And I have totally been ignoring the comments. And my light is over here, so I kind of hide. I'm hiding from you. Yeah, times were so different back then. Tim, that is a drive that I would like to make. I would like to spend time face to face and get to know you. You seem like such a wonderful person. You're always uplifting to me and encouraging, and interacting. It makes my day pretty regular. And I am primarily a firefighter. I That's my job. I'm a captain of a fire department. My job is to talk on a radio and make sure people do smart things or make good decisions and encourage them to be better professionals and better public servants. But as a part-time police officer, it's so different. If I could retire from it, I would. But I would like 3 more years before I turn in that badge. In the old days, I was always nervous and cautious. I mean, that's who we are as preparedness-minded people. But I was never scared. I never got in a patrol car and went, "Whew, is today the day?" And in these last couple years, right here where I live, in my area, I can think of 5 police officers that were shot on the line of duty, but not dealing with crime. They were just gunned down. sitting at the police station, sitting at a gas station, getting out of his car to go talk to the neighbors. I mean, if I am injured or killed defending someone or stepping up to protect someone, I have rewards for that. That's what I've taken an oath to do. And so I don't that type of call, that type of situation, though I don't want it, let's not get stupid, but I'm not going to back away from it. And I've been in some pretty significant situations. You know, gun out many times. Matter of fact, a couple months ago, you know, so it's not like, and I used to be a police officer in Pine Bluff and in South Arkansas, where it's way different than here. It was a much more violent, much more hands-on law enforcement than it's probably ever been up here in Northwest Arkansas. But nowadays, it's like I'm more scared stopping the police car to pump gas than I am at a traffic stop. And I don't like that. And that's a sign that I'm older. Because in emergency services, I'm a dinosaur. You know, particularly in paid emergency services, there aren't firefighters that are 46 years old. I mean, when they see me at classes and stuff, they're like, "Wow, you haven't retired yet?" Not yet. Because of decisions I made when I was younger, I still have several years before I can retire. And I love my job. Man, I love both of my jobs. But being a firefighter is the greatest job that I've ever had. Hands down, I love it. I love going to work, and I know that because of the call volume that my fire department does a year, I know when I go to work tomorrow, I'm going to have an impact on 3 families. Statistically, we do 3 calls a day. And more often than not, those calls are I helped make a difference in a positive way. Some of those, that positive way is they're alive now that they would not have been had I not been there. I give no credit of that to Travis. All that credit comes from the Lord, who has given me the knowledge, and I fully believe that God guides my hands and helps my decisions in those times. So I am nothing but the spatula that flips things over. But it's still a wonderful feeling to know that I get to do that every day I go to work. I've had other jobs, lots of other jobs. Firemen are notorious for having part-time jobs. But I'm so proud to put on that uniform every morning. And I get to go, and I'm blessed that as the old guy, I get to mentor, and I get to take those new firefighters, and we have men and we have women on our fire department, and I get to encourage them, I get to lift them up, I get to let them know that when they have the worst day of their life, because it happens more often than I'll talk about, when they have those days, I want them to know that, hey, I can go to Cap, he'll take care of me. He'll be there when I want to call him at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, hey, this kid died in my arms, and I had to tell the mom. Or we went to this car fire, and when we got the fire out, we found somebody was in it. Or you go in a house. All these have happened in the last 2 days, 3 days. Or you go in a house, and you have to tell a wife that her husband is dead. Now those, I'd like to say that those aren't all the time things, but they are. Comes with a job. I look, no tears, and that's a huge deal for me. Those of you that have been around a while know it. I could drop this and I would cry about it. But I like the younger generation to know. I want them to know that I've been in similar situations. I never tell them I've been in their shoes because I don't know what size shoe they're wearing. I don't know how that suffocated infant in a big fluffy couch. I don't know how they feel about that. I know how it made me feel. But I don't know how it makes them feel. And so I always tell them that I kind of understand. I've been in a similar situation. I'm here for you. Hey, let's talk. There's some things that I keep around all the time. In the back of my truck, I keep a cooler. That my cooler always has some kind of tea, usually sweet peach tea. It always has water in it, and then a few other odds and ends that people like Dr. Peppers and Mountain Dews. I'm not a big soda guy, so a 12 pack of that'll last 6-7 months. I think my neighbor's dog just showed up, so we're gonna move the flashlight for a minute. Oh, no puppy. So that's part of the job that I really like is being there for them, and I do that because when I was a pup, I mean that's what I call younger firefighters. When I was a pup, I remember having captains that were gruff but were there for me, and I had captains and officers that were great and encouraging and uplifting, and they were the arms of compassion for their community. And then I had officers that were trash. They didn't care about the job. They didn't care about their guys or their ladies. They didn't care about the patients. If it wasn't a barn burning structure fire, they didn't care. And so I try to be. I've tried to cherry pick the best of all of those worlds to be that kind of captain for them. And it directly relates to preparedness for me because when they come to me with those, hey, because most of them are volunteer. And when they come to me, they're like, hey, I just lost my job, or we think we're going to downsize. I can bring up the aspects of preparedness and share with them that, there's been multiple times in my career that I've been without a job. But my children have yet to not put food in their belly because I've always had some kind of reserve since before I had kids. Y2K was not why I started prepping, but it was one of the things that opened my eyes. I don't know how we got from gardening to being a fire department captain. That seems like a long, drawn out thing. So, for those of you that are still in here, I'm going to go in about 6 minutes, I think. It'll be about an hour, probably my second longest live stream. I've got some videos coming up on some bargains and deals that I found this weekend. I've got some more gardening stuff. Hey, Lone Star Preps. Let's see. Hello?
Hello.
I'm doing a live stream.
Oh, okay.
You want to come out?
No, not really. I'm in pajamas.
Okay.
I guess you can't tell that up here.
Huh?
I guess I can't tell.
Well, I'm almost done.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I already just said I was on the
And well, as long as you don't
flash everybody.
flash them with your pajamas, you'll be fine. So those are some videos that I've got coming out, and then just stuff. I found a great deal on Life Straws. I can't wait to share. And then freeze dryers. I've got some talking to do about freeze dryers. It's something that is new. I'm I've been blessed to always have friends that have them, and I can't afford one, but I have a couple friends that have them, and I've kind of communicated with Harvest Right about that, and so I'm excited to learn about that. Hey Badger, how are you? One of man, one of my greatest joys was when I got to meet you face to face and give you a hug. That was awesome. Down at the gathering.
Yeah,
You leaving me?
I am.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I just can't sit there. It hurts my back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Um. Oh, so no, it's not our. We don't. You can turn on the porch light, but my bulbs in my fixtures have motion lights in them. So anytime anything comes up on our steps or on the center of our porch, because my porch is wonderful, it's a big porch. So the lights just come on automatically. There's two of them, and only one came on because she didn't go to that side of the porch. So it wasn't blinking the porch light. Her coming out and telling me was kind of, hey, it's time to go to bed. Mostly because that's our bedroom window, so she's listening to me talk. And, but yeah, those are some things that I've got coming up. And then let's see, there was something else that I guess those are the things that are big and heavy on my heart. The gardening and canning. I've been doing a lot of cooking for my preps, and just doing little tidbits. So I don't know if there are any other formats of social media that you guys use. I have a little presence on most of them. The Facebook gets posts. So here's how my short posts, if it's not a video to you guys here, the way I've been doing it lately is I make short videos, some of them just little clips, and then I've got a way that I can post, and it posts on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, and Facebook. All of those at the same time. And then some I do individual. There'll be times that I put stuff on Instagram that I don't put on TikTok or YouTube. I mean, just little things. The beef of my content is here, followed closely behind by Patreon, and then all those little ones. And I like those. I like short, because mostly is your guys' time is as valuable as mine, and anything longer than 10 minutes, and I often find myself drifting. Under 3 minutes is great for me. I'll watch every second of it. Under 5, if it's under 5, I'll watch every second of it, even if it means I'm watching 5 minutes, and then I don't like there to be a part 1 and a part 2. So if I'm going to talk about this match case and then talk about this candle, I won't do it as, hey, part 1 of the porch stuff and part 2. I'll do it as, I'm going to talk about this, and then I'll talk about the candle. They may connect and go through, but for the most part, I don't like to do the part 1 and part 2s unless if I'm going to do a series, like I'm going to do a series on a specific first aid kit, and I will do all 3 videos, and I will tell you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and Tuesday, these videos are already loaded, they're already going. I will never post a video that has a second part and it not be the next piece of content that's coming out. Just because it drives me crazy to get a part one and never be able to find a part two, or see a part two and never be able to find the part one. So if you ever see one that I say part one or part two, if it's a part two, the last video that was posted is the post one. And if I say there's a part two, I promise it's already made, it's already filmed, it's already edited, it's uploaded at the same time as a part one, even though it may not come out until the next video day, which I change up. Right now it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then special things. So I changed about 2 weeks ago from Monday, Wednesday, Friday to Tuesday, Thursday, and then somewhere in the week I've been throwing in something at a random time, not just at 7 in the morning, in hopes that people, I like consistency. I like you to know if it's a video at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's a video that Travis has already thought of, it's already made. And then if there's something that comes out at 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday, that's what's on my heart right then, and I just did it. So if there's a video anytime other than it's at 6, 7, or 8 in the morning, I just did it. It is right then. And now I got a knock on the wall. You guys are the greatest. I love your encouragement. I love that we are getting prepared for emergencies. I love that we're growing as a community. It makes a difference. And if you ever get discouraged, just let me know. The website, you can message me through lots of ways, but the best way is nwaprepper.com. Literally, there's very little on the page. It's links on the top, and then scroll right down under the logo is a message thing. And when you enter a message there, it goes straight to this phone in my pocket. And so if you ever need prayer, or if you want to talk and you need encouragement, you just let me know, because I'm there. It's so important. I'm already in trouble. When she came out, she was trying to tell me it's time for bed. And she's right, because tomorrow's going to be a long day. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming in. It means a lot to me. I know I just kind of spout off on these live streams, and I know I don't do them very often. YouTube cut me out of a whole lot of that. Like, they took away some of my capabilities because I wasn't getting enough watch time for their algorithm thing. I don't even care. I'm just saying it cut some capabilities away. And so let's go to the range right now. Anyway, I've got to go so I don't get any more trouble. I appreciate you guys a great deal. Thank you for everything you do for me, and I hope that you get a little bit back from me. Happy Independence Day, and I'll talk to you soon.